Welcome back. The Herd is coming up next right here on FS1. So let's head over and check in with Colin. Colin, morning. What's in the show?
Oh, all sorts of interesting stuff today. Tua's getting nervous in Miami. Aaron Rodgers wants to be treated like Steph Curry. And I think the crowd won a basketball game last night in New York. That's coming up.
Colin, thanks. Guys, Ja Morant had an up-and-down game last night, scoring a Grizzlies playoff record 47 points in the loss, but was also stuffed at the rim on one dunk attempt by Rudy Gobert. You guys want to see that one again? And Shannon, how impressed were you that Ja even tried this?
I was very impressed. He woke up yesterday and chose violence because he's tried to ruin a lot of guys' life. He tried one on Kevin Love. Skip, this might have been the greatest in-game dunk, given who Rudy Gobert is and his place, but he has a chance to be one of the all-time great defenders. And Ja Morant, 6'3" tall. If he'd have hit that dunk, it would have been better than the dunk Vince Carter did in the Olympics over Frederick Weiss.
Agreed.
Because Rudy Gobert, we know he probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year for the third time. And if Ja Morant, he cocked it. It wasn't no sneak attack. He pulled it back.
He did. It was the greatest failed dunk I've ever seen. I give him high marks because this kid has a backbone.
Yeah.
Ja believes fearlessly in Ja Morant. And he said, meet me in midair, Stifle Tower. I got something for you right here.
The top floor.
You're 1 foot taller than I am, and I do not care. I do not fear. And he threw it in as hard as he could, and it was impossible. And he moved the meter a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah. I give him credit. He attempted it, Skip. But this kid was unbelievable last night. 47. Now he has the second most points in his first two playoff games, 2 behind George Mikan. But, Skip, Utah's going to be... You let them make 19 threes, Skip. You're not beating Utah.
No.
They got back to what they did. But I'm going to give the Grizzlies credit. They got down by 20, and they cut it to 2.
They did. Because those two kids will just keep on keeping
Dylan Brooks just got to stay out of foul trouble, Skip.
What could have been? Honestly, you're right. Good for him on trying it. Now he's just going to want it more, right, guys? That is it for Undisputed. We are back same time tomorrow. Plenty to discuss tomorrow. Skip, we are done. The show's over. The Herd's on now. Have a good one. The Clippers find themselves in an 0-2 hole to climb out against the Mavericks when they play Game 3 tomorrow night in Dallas. The Clippers opened as a 1.5-point favorite and now find themselves as 2-point favorites according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. So, Shannon, are you surprised by this?
I'm a little surprised, Skip, considering how well the Mavericks have played, and they are going home, and they're going to have 15,000 fans in a 19,000-seat arena. So they're going to have...
Watch, it'll be 19. Before all said and done, it'll be 19.
You're probably right.
There won't be a seat in the house.
You're probably right, Skip. So they're really going to have a home court advantage.
Yes.
And considering how well they played and how electric that crowd is going to be, I thought at worst case scenario maybe it'd be pick'em game or maybe the Mavericks by a point. But I guess if the Fox Bet believe that the Clippers are still the better team. And that was 2 anomalies. And they believe the Mavs, because if you remember, Skip, even after they lost what, 1-2? They were still favored to beat the Nuggets. And I'm like, well, hold on. 6 points, I think it was like 5 points, 4 points, 6 points. Even in Game 7, they were the overwhelming favorites because I believe the books say they're still the better team, and the better team's going to win. But with Luka doing what I don't know if the book has been watching what Luka's done to the Clippers in his games, in his 8 games of playing of Skip. I mean, 39-7-7, 31-10-11. He's 32-10-9 in his 8 games against them. He's shooting 50% from the floor, 38% from the three-point line. So I am surprised that Fox Bet decided to make the Clippers a 2-point favorite over the Mavericks. But the Clippers will come out ready to play. Ty Lue tell them we got to get the crowd out of it early because, you know, they're going to be buzzing. They're going to be electric. Ain't going to be no more cardboard cutouts, Skip. Ain't no showing Dirk Nowitzki's face and all the Maverick great players' faces. Nope. Those are going to be actual live fans yelling and screaming.
So I thought you'd be outraged over this, more outraged than surprised.
I'm surprised.
And all I got to say is, Lord, have mercy on the Clippers. You know what Rick Carlisle's going to do with this?
Yeah.
He's going to tell his team tomorrow night before the game, you went into their building and you kicked their "We Want Dallas" tails up and down their court. And now they've come into your house and they're still favored over you by 2 points.
Right.
And they will be re-inspired to shoot 50% from three and to shoot my team right in its heart, right in its stomach, right in its psyche.
You go play that disrespect card. They still don't respect you.
But I get this. I've been getting it all year. I got it last year. This team is loaded. It just doesn't play loaded. This team last year in the bubble against the Denver Nuggets, every game was favored by more than your Lakers were favored in their series with the Nuggets, which came later, obviously.
Right.
So remember what happened in the bubble against the Nuggets. And again, this was with Jamal Murray and Jokic, right?
Yep.
And so the Clippers had won 3 games by 23, 6, and 11 points. And then in the next, the 3 closeout games, 5, 6, and 7, they're ahead by 16, 19, and 12 and cannot close any of those 3 deals. Well, that shows you firepower, right?
Yep.
But it shows you something is missing. I thought the something was playoff Rondo, but that has not been the case so far. I'd like to see him play more than 22 or 3 minutes a game. I'd like to see him start and finish
Actually,
the game.
Reggie Jackson and Pat Bev are playing more minutes than Rondo.
Okay, I don't get that. But the point is, in game number 1, here at Staples, they're 6.5-point favorites. That's about right to me. I get that. Game 2, they were 6-point favorites. Now at Dallas, they're 2-point favorites. I get it because they're that good. They're that deep. They're that talented.
Right.
You know it. You picked them to win the first 2 games.
I did.
And yet, Luka, as Chris Broussard often says, he just was the best player on the floor. I'm not afraid of Luka as much as all those numbers. He's going to get those. That's what he does. He has the ball in his hands a lot. He's going to get those numbers. He's going to fill that stat sheet. But if you let the rest of them all make 6 out of 8 threes like Tim Hardaway did in game number 2, you're going to lose because they were 35 of 70 from 3. They were the 18th in three-point shooting, and they made 35 of 70?
Well, so let me ask you a question. So do you let him just go one-on-one, get 40, 50 points?
That's what I would do, but you have to play defense on the rest of the guys.
Because remember skipping Portland. That's what they did to Joe. They let him get him. They could go one-on-one. He had 1 assist.
I got it. That's the only way to fly because he's too good a passer and he's too tall of a passer. He's like Magic. He can just see, or like LeBron. They can see over everything.
He's going to see over Pat Bev. He's going to see over.
You can see it like an offensive coordinator sitting upstairs in the press box can see it. You can see who's open.
Right.
So he just goes up. He's not a leaper, but he can just go up and throw a 2-handed overhead pass to whomever is open.
Right.
And if they're going to make those shots, it's like Russell said, the hard part is get the assist because they have to close the deal for you. Well, if Hardaway's going to make 6 out of 8 and Kleber's going to make 2 out of 2 and Porzingis at 7 feet 3 inches tall is going to make 3 out of 4, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose badly.
Yes.
Okay? Because nobody's guarding the other guys. I don't know why, but I told you, I watched them close. I watched every dribble of every game. And over the last 6 weeks of the season, they played pretty good defense. They were ranked 2nd in defensive efficiency over the last 6 weeks.
Right.
Well, what happened in games 1 and 2? Well, if they did, I don't believe they tanked. But if in the back of their minds they wanted Dallas because they thought they were easier, are they just sleepwalking? Do they think our talent will just will out? We'll just overwhelm them with our talent?
Sometimes you think that, oh, man, we better than them. They ain't got nobody but Luka. And then all of a sudden you realize you're in a fight because the longer you go in a Skip, it's just like anything. The longer you leave somebody the line says we're 6-point favorite. Now all of a sudden we get down to the 4th quarter, Skip, and we 10 points down. Now what? Now we got to go in panic mode to try to catch up. Skip, you got to get some production from Luke Kennard. You said he was going to be big. They paid him $16 million. You need to get more than what you got out of Marcus Morris Sr. in the first 2 games.
I mean, Luke Kennard, he didn't even play in the game.
That's my point.
Right, I got it.
He got 2 DMPs.
Yeah, and remember, he's a 40% three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Well, they led the league in three-point shooting, and he helped.
But here's the thing, Skip. They can't play him because they're already struggling defensively. Okay. He's not a defensive guy.
No, he's not.
And you look at they've made 33 Skip, in which they've been open to wide open. Open is Dallas has.
Yes.
6 feet and below, wide open is 6 feet and beyond.
Okay.
So 30 of those are the 35.
That's embarrassing. That just means you're not committed at all to playing on the other end of the floor.
So they're making three-pointers that's farther, the defender is farther apart than you and I.
And what do you think Kawhi Leonard is thinking? He scored 41 points, and they lost badly again.
But Skip, that's what should be concerning. You got 41 from Kawhi. You got 28 from Paul George. You got 69. That's what you hope for. You think, man, if we can get somewhere between 50 and 60 from our superstars, you got damn near 70, and you still lost.
Yeah, because Tim Hardaway made 6, and they were all at just the right time.
Yes.
Every time there was a surge from the Clippers, he just said, no, sorry. And he was making deep threes,
Yes.
and he was shooting with such conviction, and they weren't rattling around.
Right.
They were dead swishing.
That one, Skip, that I think you guys had cut it to 4, and Luka hit Finney Smith in the middle, and he kicked it
popped
hard
right out. That was the dagger.
Yeah.